world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's
Good Morning Bay.
आप तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते, नमस्कार, वनकम, खुशामदीद, अस्सलाम वालेकुम, सत श्री अकाल, मी कंदर की वंदनमो, जय स्वामी नारायण, जय श्री कृष्ण, जय जनेंद्र। एंड कोर्स हमें सारे इस्माइली भाई बदल बोलेंगे याली मदद एंड मोलाली मदद बलुजान एंड हमारे फीजी मदद को बोलेंगे नीसा अम्बुला। हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के दौरे। मैं सिर्फ फालतू बाबा फालतूनी भी है बलुजान, थोड़ी देर में बैक इन द स्टूडियो एंड आपको न्यूज़ तो देंगे ही, साथ में हेडलाइंस के साथ साथ न्यूज़ सबको देंगे आपको बलुजान। लेकिन उससे पहले what we need to do बलुजान is go into our traffic update for you guys, जो हम लोग देते हैं आपको टोटल सस्ते में। So here you go, रास्ते का हाल टोटल सस्ते में।
It's time for the Bandu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
That's right, Balajan. Wherever you are, if you're stuck somewhere in traffic, you can give us a call here and tell us what's happening on the roads. Well, अभी तक तो COVID situation चल रहा है, मतलब the volume of traffic is not increased as much as it was pre-COVID, Balajan. लेकिन a little bit of advisory for you guys. If you're going to be traveling on the bridge, 92 there's a high wind advisory there, so watch out for that wind, which might probably disrupt your driving and everything, Balajan. Apart from that, I just see one particular notification of a fire on 280 northbound at Guadalupe Parkway in San Jose. Lanes are affected there. I see some backlog over there, and उससे पहले थोड़ा बहुत residual delay हो रहा है 280 पे, तो watch out for that, driver safety बन जाए. Apart from that, there's no this incidents actually slowing down traffic in either the 101 side or the 880 for the matter. So it's pretty much a good thing. Like, you know, the covering the entire Bay Area, we have traffic moving in its own pace, but so no, it's not like a traffic congestion anywhere. So good news right there for you guys. Now, quick look at what's happening with the weather. Well, yesterday was interesting weather. It was kind of cloudy in the evening, but of course, morning was sunny, and we're going to have sunny weather all through the week, Burja. We're going to have sun all through the week. Probably some signs of clouds on Saturday, but no chances of rain as of now, Burjan. So definitely it's a beautiful weather if you actually are planning on those. Many schools actually have spring break right now, I guess, Faltwani, isn't it? Spring break time already?
No, it's... No, Altababa, it's next week. It's not this week.
Almost the time of spring break, right? Is this the time when people go skiing and all? Or was it already done? Is it already done?
The skiing is winter break. That's
in
done
February.
Already.
So,
yeah.
Oh my God, COVID has totally ruined my sense of vacations. By the way, I never took any before that.
Not really winter break. It's actually called ski break.
Well, Faltari, you heard what I said, right? It was oxymoron. Messing up with my vacation plans. When have I done vacations for the past 12 years? Of course, yes. But ever since got radio is a different beast totally. So, of course, we'll talk about later on. Some of the different, some a specific show we'll talk about those things, Banjan. Lekin abhi ke liye aapke bol do, we're going to go into our headlines. Faltani, do we have some headlines for our bandus today? And is that anything interesting?
Yes, Altababa, there's a bunch of different headlines, but we will bring you the headlines from across the United States and also the Bay Area shortly.
All right, but just here you go. This is the headlines for you guys from the Bay Area. Faltwani is getting ready for that, and here you go. This is your headlines.
From the Radio Dehati studios right here in the Silicon Valley, Banajan, these are your US and Bay Area headlines. A grinding and crushing knee on George Floyd. Opening statements begin in the George Floyd case against Derek Chauvin. CDC director speaks of impending doom, warns of increase in COVID-19 cases. US vaccination campaign gains steam as the White House speeds up shipments. The United States has so far administered 143 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccines, according to the CDC. Another danger for kids in the age of COVID, failing grades. We'll bring you more on that shortly. US CDC extends eviction ban through June 30th. The United States will issue a proposal to preserve a program for dreamer immigrants, according to the Department of Homeland Security. And teen girls, 13 and 15-year-old teen girls, have been charged in the carjacking that killed the Pakistani food deliverer in Washington, D.C. And in local Bay Area news, Banajan, more Bay Area schools are set to reopen and expand in-person classes. A historic San Jose building has been moved to be remodeled and sold as affordable housing. And Contra Costa County set to open vaccine eligibility to all residents 16 and older.
And
More on all of this coming up shortly.
And of course, Banjan, I don't know about which news you're going to be interested in watching or reviewing, Banjan, but I definitely want to know how they moved that building.
Exactly.
They picked it up and moved it. I know they moved a building in San Francisco some time ago.
They did?
Yeah, the whole building was uprooted from its basement.
How do they do that?
So I think it's the construction, the way they construct it, right? It's built on a base.
Huh.
So basically, if you have a proper crane or whatever, you can lift it. And San Francisco homes, it's all matchbox homes, right?
That's kind of true.
Yeah, there's a very historic thing, but if you want to go check it out, they actually removed a particular building from one location to another location. A whole house was moved. And if you want to Google that, you can Google it. If you want, I'll see if I can actually post it for you guys, so that for sure. But just time for me to go on to the Gane Akira, which I'm going to play for you guys, but it's actually not for a movie at all. Well, actually, this is something which I totally love. This is a nice song, and it calls attention some of the things which we have been talking about for the whole month of March, because March we labeled this as the Mahila March, right? We're talking about all the, dedicated the whole month towards discussions about women and the challenges they face, right? So this song actually talks about that, Faltwani, and this came in the wake of the incident of I think discrimination, not discrimination, it was actually the abuse thing, right, which happened. They formed a group.
After the Nirbhaya case.
Correct.
Especially.
Salim Suleiman, Farhan Akhtar all came together, formed a group called Mard. And there's a beautiful song called Chule Asma. This is all the microaggression, subjugation, what happens to women, Banajan, happening for women so all these years. And yeah, it's still there. It's not that it's not gone. It's still there. Listen to the song, enjoy the song, we'll come back after this. Banajan, music by Salim Suleiman and Farhan Akhtar's lyrics, I guess.
बेटियां बस एक बोझ है कहते हैं जो बुरा हुआ तेरा कसूर है उनसे कहो अपनी भी जिद है तोड़े हम सारे ये बिजरे झूले आसमां ये जहां हम जीत ले बदले
And of course, Banjan, I gotta say this one thing here. Singers, of course, are Farhan Akhtar and Salim Merchant, actually, the Salim Suleiman Jodika. And music by Salim and Suleiman Banjan. Lyrics by Farhan Akhtar and Shraddha Pandit, which I wanted to definitely mention out here, Banjan. And beautiful song, we'll definitely play it for you again. It's actually kind of a song talking about, how you have to actually, we have to empower women to actually be able to do what they want to do, right? And that's what I'm going to do right now, Faltoni. I'm going to empower you to start giving us the news right now. How about that?
Oh my God.
Faltoni, you're welcome, Faltoni. Go ahead. I'm trying to empower you to give the news for us. But turn the mic on and everything. And give you this, you can actually do whatever you want to do, Faltoni. Chule Asma.
Former Minneapolis policeman Derek Chauvin squeezed the life out of George Floyd when he arrested him. Last May, a prosecutor told jurors in his opening statement at the Chauvin's trial on murder charges on Monday. Jerry Blackwell, a prosecutor with the Minnesota Attorney General's office, told jurors that officers who wear the Minneapolis police badge pledge to never use unnecessary force or violence. You will learn that on May 25th, Mr. Derek Chauvin betrayed this badge when he used excessive and unreasonable force upon the body of George Floyd, Blackwell said. He displayed a still image from a bystander's cell phone of Chauvin, who is white with his knee on the neck of Floyd, a 46-year-old black man in handcuffs, saying it showed Chauvin grinding and crushing him until the very breath. No, ladies and gentlemen, the very life was squeezed out of him, he said. Floyd's death ignited a global protest, if you remember, and over the preceding 2 weeks of the jury selection, many jurors told Hennepin County District Judge Peter Cahill and the lawyers on each side that they recognize the scrutiny their deliberations would come under, not least by those who view the trial as reckoning for how black people are policed in the United States. Impending doom, says CDC. Biden administration officials pleaded with Americans on Monday to continue to take precautions to prevent the spread of COVID-19 amid an increase in cases across the country. Dr. Rochelle Walensky, head of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, with emotion in her voice, urged public officials and others to spread the word about the seriousness of the situation in an effort to prevent the fourth surge. She said the United States surpassed 30 million cases of COVID-19 on Sunday, and that the 7-day average of new cases was slightly less than 60,000 cases per day, a 10% increase compared with the prior 7-day period. Hospitalizations also increased and deaths started to rise. Walensky actually said, "I'm going to lose the script and I'm going to reflect on the recurring feeling I have of impending doom. Right now, I am scared," she said.
Wow, that means that actually, even after the vaccination thing going pretty strong, you're saying that the variants and that.
That's because many people are not getting vaccinated, Alto Baba.
Oh my God.
And on top of it, the fact that there's been so much loosening of COVID restrictions, there are a lot of people who are in some of these states who are, buying into the misinformation. Actually, I was listening to a report, Alto Baba, which talked about how in different languages there's so much misinformation that African American and Latinx individuals are being told right now that the fact that by giving the vaccine, right, don't go get the vaccine because they will inject a chip into you to track you.
Oh my goodness.
Is what they're saying at this particular point.
And this is something which is propagated on social media?
Yeah, on social media.
And the social media giants not able to identify those messages?
Yeah, because it's in different languages.
Well, didn't they bring it up last week with a meeting with, the Pichais and the Zuckerbergs and all came in? I thought they were able to recognize those things, didn't
they should be able to, but they actually haven't been doing it, so they should have been doing it. But either ways, that's one of the big things that's happening, and we need to be careful because people are flooding places like I told you, right, for spring breakers. They're going to Florida. There's a whole bunch of people, even in San Francisco. People flooded the beaches this past weekend.
You're talking San Francisco, Faldurani, Santa Cruz. You know what kind of a crowd was that?
Oh, really?
It was heavy, Faldurani. The people actually were holidaying.
Oh my God.
And the worst part is they're not wearing masks. People were not masking.
What?
Also. Yeah. On the beach. The thing is outdoors, it's okay, fine and everything. But, it would be nice if people actually were masking it, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a beautiful weather in California. You feel like, open spaces, it's not as crowded. It was crowded. All the beaches, everywhere you look, people were actually on the trail. People were actually parked. The traffic was heavy on the way back from Santa Cruz yesterday. All those things. Yeah.
Right. Also, the good news is that Banajan, the US government has hit the accelerator on its shipments of COVID-19 vaccines after a month of largely stagnant weekly deliveries, giving states the doses that they say they need to finish vaccinating priority groups and open shots to all adults in the coming weeks. The biggest supply boost came from Johnson & Johnson. Shipments of the one-shot vaccine had been slow to ramp up since its late February authorization as the company waited for regulatory clearance of a key US factory. Pfizer Inc. also has boosted output of its vaccine, doubling batch sizes and shortening the production time. Officials of more than a dozen states, including Vermont, Idaho, and New Jersey, have told Reuters that increased vaccine shipments allowed them to accelerate efforts to inoculate the elderly and the frontline workers, and in some cases to open shots to all adult residents earlier than expected. In fact, 143,462,691 doses of the COVID-19 vaccines have been administered as of Sunday morning, and the United States has distributed 180,646,465 doses, the US CDC and Prevention said on Sunday. The tally for Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines as of 6 a.m. on Sunday was that, and according to this particular tally that was posted on March 27th, the agency had administered 140,180,735 doses of the vaccine. That's what they are reporting right now. There is another danger that is arising in the age of COVID, Bandajan. Forget about COVID, contracting COVID. Like millions of American children, Brody Cotton has not seen the inside of a classroom in more than a year. What is this problem? As the COVID-19 pandemic left him navigating 7th grade from his couch in Carlsbad, California, Brody's grades dropped from A's and B's to D's and 2 F's last semester. One of the F's was in something called Design and Modeling elective that would have entailed hands-on 3D printing projects in the classroom but became popsicle stick models at home. The parent of this kid, Christine Cullinan, who's a single parent juggling her son's schooling with a full-time job at an electronics company, said, "I've never had to deal with this kind of an educational issue before." Brody's peers are struggling. The number of Fs received by students in Carlsbad, a small, affluent, mostly white city 30 miles north of San Diego, increased by more than 3 times during the first semester of 2021 school year compared with the same period in 2019-2020, according to the school district data. So that is a huge issue. Failing grades are becoming rampant amongst a lot of students, and in a lot of schools they were just giving the pass, no pass, and not even the failing grade. So that's another huge big issue. What else has the pandemic affected? It's obviously with regard to evictions and housing. Now the CDC is saying that as of today, they have extended through June 30th a nationwide order to prevent millions of US renters from being evicted amid the economic fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic. The CDC's moratorium on most residential evictions, which the agency justified citing the public health crisis, had been set to expire this Wednesday. The other news item that's coming out is another program that's being preserved is the Dreamer program. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security said on Friday that they will issue a proposed rule to preserve and fortify a program for immigrants nicknamed Dreamers who are living illegally in the United States after entering as children. President Joe Biden issued a memo on Jan 20th, his first day in office, that directed the agency and the U.S. Attorney General to maintain the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, which protects Dreamer immigrants from deportation. So they are taking action right now to preserve and fortify the DACA, and they are proposing, they're coming up with a proposal to make this happen. 2 girls aged 13 and 15 were charged with the murder and carjacking of a Pakistani immigrant killed last week while working at his job delivering food in Washington, D.C. in an incident captured by a bystander on video. Mohammed Anwar, who was 66 years old, died when police said the girls, armed with a taser, sped off in his car as he clung to the driver's side with the door open and crashed seconds later just outside the ballpark of the Washington Nationals. A video posted on Saturday shows the encounter unfolding in a minute and a half, ending with Anwar's Honda Accord on its side, the girls climbing out, and a fatally injured Anwar sprawled and motionless on the sidewalk. By Sunday afternoon, the video had been seen on Twitter at least 5.5 million times. Police did not identify the juvenile suspects, one of whom is from the District of Columbia and the other is from neighboring Fort Washington, Maryland. Anwar, who lived in a suburban Springfield, Virginia, was at his delivery job for Uber Eats when he was killed and was described in a GoFundMe post as a hard-working Pakistani immigrant who came to the United States to create a better life for himself and his family. So much. I mean, sometimes it's like senseless violence, right, Alto Baba? It's
Yep.
just. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Bay Area news. Contra Costa County health officials are encouraging people 50 and older who live or work in the county to get the COVID-19 vaccine this week, as there are thousands of appointments apparently available. County officials also said that they expect to open eligibility to all residents aged 16 and up starting later this week. They said that there is no shortage of vaccine supply. So Supervisor John Gioia said, we have thousands of appointments available, so we encourage you to get online or call us and make an appointment. Further, what they're also saying is that this could be the first county to expand vaccine eligibility to a bigger group of people.
Yep.
And more Bay Area schools are reopening for in-person classes. Schools in the East Bay and the Santa Clara Unified in the South Bay, Mount Diablo Unified, and San Ramon Valley Unified have all returned to in-person classes. Students at San Ramon had already started a hybrid schedule, including the Monte Vista High School in Danville, and the district is now bringing together two separate cohorts to attend in-person classes 4 days a week. The school board made the decision after the CDC revised its distancing recommendation from 6 feet to 3 feet. And in Berkeley, elementary, preschool through second grade students have also started. It's a big day for teachers and parents and kids there. They've also started in-person learning as of today. And Alto was very curious about this. Historic old San Jose apartment building is moving down the street after spending its first 110 years or so near the corner of South First and East Reed Streets.
So trust me, Baduja, that headline is so misleading. I felt like I was just got up and walked towards the corner.
It almost seems like that, right? Crews actually started prepping the building for its move just before 7 a.m. Sunday, and its entire journey to its new location took about roughly 5 hours.
So it did move. The whole
Yes.
building moved.
Yes.
Wow.
The two-story Palisade apartment building, a Mission Revival-style fourplex built in 1910, was hooked onto the back of a semi-truck for the slow 3-block drive to its new home at East Reed Street and South 4th Street. Contractors have placed a system of steel I-beams under the building and will be placing a group of hydraulic wheeled dollies under the beams in order to roll the building onto Reed Street, said Patty Wong Cross, a spokeswoman for the Habitat for Humanity East Bay, Silicon Valley.
And of course, the other building which actually moved similar to this was in San Francisco, which is a 139-year-old Victorian house in San Francisco actually moved.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, was moved actually from one location to the other location.
I really wonder, in 1910 they built the house like that. I cannot imagine, like where the foundation, it could be moved without taking the
Oh,
foundation.
yeah, I think engineering has been standard for 200 years, right? Especially construction work. It's all been standardized.
Wow.
Yeah, so just got to put a beam through and just lift it up is what they've done. So, in fact, this particular building I'm talked about, right? It actually happened in, happened this, was it this year? I don't know when it happened, but actually it's moved 6 blocks, Faltwani.
Wow.
They actually had giant dollies created, and in San Francisco, actually, it happened it's called the Englander House, I believe, and it was actually loaded onto a giant dollies and moved from 807 Franklin Street to 639 Fulton Street.
Oh, wow.
And actually, I have videos and photos of that. I'm going to post that for you guys to see on our Facebook page. It's very interesting how the whole building is taking a turn.
Oh, wow. Really?
It'd be so interesting, right? So it's like, those Lego boxes moving like 1, 2, 3. Like.
Oh, wow. I was wondering if so then they go back and they assemble it back up, or is
No, it's a whole thing moves up. Just
like
moves.
it's just they pick it up like this and then it goes.
Correct.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah, I believe the whole moving this whole the 6-bedroom house. They paid around $400,000 for the moving costs.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I didn't know about that move, but this one I found really surprising when I was reading about it, that they actually try to preserve this building. And imagine how cool it is, right, to to be able to see that. I wish I could have witnessed that move.
With this move,
That-
they have a video of it. I'm going to post
There a
it.
video?
Yeah.
Okay, we should post that on Facebook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they carefully lift it up and they move slowly on the dolly, and then dolly goes. There's a big semi actually pulling the dolly and coming. No, it's over. It occupies the whole street though.
Oh, wow.
So they had to close out the whole street. Just almost like buying a new house, man. It's easily $400,000. I only happens to San I suppose. Nowhere else.
Anyway.
Yeah, at the Bay Area. It happened in San Jose, so the Bay Area only. Yeah, what else do we have as news, Faltani? Because coming to a close already. Do you want to get into our news with our with the word and everything, Faltani?
We could, let's tell you, Banajan, the Suez Canal, that big. Should we get into the detailed news, Altababa?
Sure, why not? Just jump into it.
Okay, so the traffic in the Suez Canal resumes after the stranded ship was refloated. Yay! Remember the Ever Given? Well, the Ever Given was seeming like it was stuck forever.
Uh-huh.
But given the wonderful efforts of all the people around there, the Ever Given was finally moved. The Egypt Suez Canal will reopen now for shipping traffic in both directions on Monday evening after a giant container ship, which had been blocking the busy waterway for almost a week, was refloated with more than 400 ships waiting to pass through. The Suez Canal's authority chairman. I'm sorry.
Is that the name of the person? Mr.
No, no. Mr. Osama Rabi said the channel was navigable after the 400-meter long vessel Ever Given was freed undamaged earlier on Monday. The ship came out intact. It has no problems. We've just searched the bottom and the soil of the Suez Canal, and thankfully it is sound and it has no issues, and ships will pass through it today, he told Nile TV.
Okay, and of course, this is latest news, breaking news, everybody out there. We have Deepaji listening to us right now. Good morning, babe. Thank you so much, Deepaji. She's saying, I'm so glad I heard the news today. So good, you're welcome.
Oh,
See, all these things are there. You can move your house from Mount House towards San Jose if you wanted.
yes, Deepaji.
You uproot and bring it here.
Yes, you most definitely ought to be moving here. So.
Don't forget the garden. Bring the garden also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's got a beautiful garden.
Very good.
We
Okay.
don't know. Everybody, I've not seen it in person. I've seen it on Zoom.
Well, let's tell you, Banjan, in other international news, thousands of protesters took to the streets in Myanmar again after 5 more protesters were killed. Myanmar security forces who killed these people said that 3 of them were in the main city of Yangon. Witnesses and media also reported on this as activists called on ethnic minority forces in the diverse nation to back their campaign against the military rule. After the bloodiest day since February 1st military coup, with about 114 deaths on Saturday, thousands took to the streets in towns across the country determined to show their opposition to the relapse into the military rule after a decade of democratic reform. At least 2 people were killed in the Yangon district of South Dagon when security forces moved in to clear protesters' barricades, residents said. And this is the favorite news item that our Altubaba talks, is planning to do an ABCT about. Hopefully we'll get that recorded today. Jailed Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny said he could be locked up in solitary confinement after being accused of numerous minor infractions, and posted his first picture on Monday of himself from prison, a grainy image showing his head had been shaven. That's right.
That's because he can't be recognized, right? It could be anybody else doing it.
It could be anybody
It's
else.
all the chiaroscuro all the shit they're using right now. That's my ABCT for you guys. Is that it's not Navalny, actually. Somebody looks like Navalny, but they shaved his head off to make it seem like other uniform is everywhere, right? So they come back and...
Hence the ABCT. Shh, you should not share all that on the air right now. You people should go to our video channel, which is Radio De Hotties, and you should actually watch Altubaba's ABCT, which is the Altubaba conspiracy theories. Alex, but let me tell you that
Abhi
actually...
tak chup tha. ABCT, abhi chup tha.
Ab tak chup tha. Okay. So, the fate of Navalny, one of President Vladimir Putin's most prominent critics, is in focus after he said on Thursday that being woken up by a guard every hour during the night amounted to torture, and that his appeal for treatment for acute back and leg pain is being ignored. Apparently, more than 20 medical professionals on Sunday published an open letter demanding that the 44-year-old opposition politician get proper care.
But they don't know that he's available. Nobody has seen him as yet.
No.
Even the jail's superintendent won't have seen him, I suppose.
Right.
Because he's not there.
That's ABCT. But in India, Bandajan, really disturbing news coming out of India. The second wave of coronavirus infections is spreading rapidly in India, and the cases may continue to rise for the next few days. On Monday, India reported 68,020 new infections, and its biggest surge since October last year. Total cases now have crossed the 12 million mark, and people are saying that this wave is more severe and is even more different than the first because this includes 7 different variants of the virus. Sanjay Raut, for those of you who are familiar with this guy and his comments, a Shiv Sena leader, on Monday declaimed that he warned in advance that arrested Mumbai police officer Sachin Vaze will create problems for the Mahavikas Aghadi government in Maharashtra. Vaze is now in NIA custody for his alleged involvement in the death of Thane-based businessman Mansukh Hiran. And
Is it Agdi or Agdi?
I don't know, Aghadi.
Agdi means hours.
Agdi,
Right?
total.
Okay.
Total, right? So, and in West Bengal, as pre-election campaigning heats up, Banajan, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and her BJP rival Suvendu Adhikari have stepped up attacks against each other on Monday, just days before their high-profile contest in Nandigram. Addressing her supporters in Nandigram earlier today, she took a dig at the influential Adhikari family and said that too much greed is not going to be good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here I have advice for Mamata Banerjee to actually make a movie about herself and have Vidya Balan. No. I think Rani Mukherjee should play a role.
Yeah, Rani Mukherjee should play. And she actually says the Adhikaris will be na ghar ka, na ghat ka.
Yeah.
That's what she says that in her.
So
in
she
her
wants
address
to hire
about-
people from Palghat.
Yeah. Well, more on all of this you can find on mediamahima.com. But that's all we have time for on this morning's Good Morning Bay. We'll be back tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show. Don't forget to tune in then. Have yourselves a magnificent Monday. Don't forget to mask up, even if you have the vaccine. And if you haven't gotten the vaccine, find out how you can get one.
If you want more information, email us or message on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Hotties. We probably can give you some resources to go look up on. Alright, Banjab, with this we're going to be saying have a fantastic, wonderful, magnificent Monday. We'll see you in the evening live at 5 with the Pam Pam Show, Banjan, which goes totally live at 5.